We're just
Welcome.
having one of those weeks.
We're just having one of those weeks. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Lisa was telling me it's like, it's the perfect time to talk about entrepreneurship because it's been a crazy week. But Alexa, I was telling Lisa too, we just launched 3 websites, or actually we technically launched 2, but we're about to launch the 3rd. So it's been pretty crazy on
Wow.
our end too. But I'm finally breathing a little better.
What's that
So
like?
I'm glad to have you both on the podcast, Lisa and Alexa. I want to say thank you first and foremost for creating a business that sells products that not only is good for us as human beings, but also good for our planet. Good Juju, I know, is your baby. So bring us back to the beginning and on how the brand was born and what really inspired you to get into the natural health industry.
Okay, so let's rewind back to 2019. So first of all,
Yes.
thanks so much for having us.
Of course.
We're excited to be here today to talk about Good Juju and the roller coaster of entrepreneurship. So the idea was born back in 2019. So Alexa and I both spent our careers in the natural health industry. So I was on the manufacturer side, so I worked for a supplement company, and Alexa was on the retailer side. And back in 2019, it was time for me to leave. I was just ready to move on. I had been with the same company for almost 10 years, and I was leading the marketing department. And as a marketing person, to be on one brand for like 10 years is a long time. So I was kind of like ready for the next step. And then at the same time, Alexa was going through some changes. I'll let her explain what was going on in her life at that time. And I approached her to say, "Hey, do you want to do something?"
Were you guys friends?
Yeah, so I was on the retail side, and my family owned a group of health food stores in BC for 26 years. And in 2019, we decided to sell them. And so Lisa and I had been acquaintances, I would call it, versus necessarily friends. And we saw each other at trade shows and at different events. But when we decided to sell the business, she came out to kind of say, congratulations and show her support for us. And then she was also like, I think I'm gonna leave my job and I think we should do something together.
Makes sense. So you guys were just like, this is what we need to do. Like, we want to start our own thing. Like, this is the logical next step. Like, but what about the idea itself of the company, what you guys sell? Like, let's talk about that. How did that happen?
Yeah. So Lisa said, I want to start a business. I want it to be run by women. It has to be in the sustainable space, and I really want a partner. And I was like,
I love it. Straight up.
I love that for sure. But it took me a little bit to get around to jumping in because it was such a big decision to make. But she kept saying, like, I think it'd be really fun. And there's a lack of women-run businesses in our industry. So we decided to do it. And then, but we didn't really have an idea at that point. And then one day Lisa phoned me up and she said, "Are you using shampoo bars?" Because I'm using them, and I'm using them because they're good for the planet. And I want to be, doing my part, but I just don't love how they perform. And when we had been talking about what we were going to do for the business, we knew that it had to be something that was really sustainable. We're both really passionate about climate change. We come from really sustainable industries. Both of our businesses were B Corps that we were working at. And so I said, yeah, I'm using shampoo bars too, but I really don't like how they perform either. And so we thought we can do this better.
Yeah.
Amazing. So that was the first product that you guys started with, right?
Yeah. My background, I had some experience on a new product development team, and I had some access to some really smart people who know ingredients and efficacy and research really well. So I knew that I could reach out to them and we could, partner with the right people to get a product that performs amazing. So it took us like about 9 months to formulate our shampoo and conditioner bars.
I bet. Yeah. Like, what was that process like? Because you're communicating with different suppliers and stuff. I know that this happened also like in the prime of COVID. So you guys had some challenges there in terms of like what was available, the cost of goods, etc. So like, to someone who's never really started a company where they had to create their own product, what did that look like? When we watch Shark Tank, we see people like making things out of the garage, doing things by hand first. Like, was that your approach, or were you like, no, we need a manufacturer from the start, they're going to help create the formula for us?
Yeah. So I would say in the very beginning, the first year we in 2019, we were so actually I guess it was, yeah, it was in 2019. We were so I don't know, naive, I
Right.
guess is the word about it. Yeah, so we started at the beginning of 2019 and everything went super smoothly. Like we were getting like a bank loan and we wrote an amazing business plan. We were having like all this like the path was relatively easy. We found a manufacturer who was willing
Doing
to
all the
work
right
with us,
things.
doing all the
Yeah.
right things. Yeah, like and so our plan was to launch early in 2020. And as we started going through the process, it was actually fine. Like the actual coming up with the product and finding the manufacturer, that part was it was pretty easy for us, mainly because of the experience that I had being on the supplier side before. I kind of knew the right steps and how to vet it, how to vet a manufacturer, and how to kind of go through that process. It was when we were the formula was finalized and we were like, okay, we're going to launch in June of 2020. And so the formula probably got finalized maybe January of 2020,
January.
something
Mm,
like that. Yeah, January, February, we're like, great, now it's time to go into production. We're going to level it all up. And then, of course, everybody knows what happened in March of 2020, and our lives changed. And then, yeah, a whole new set of like all of the challenges kind of ensued from then. And I think like the first ones were manufacturing related. So I'll let Alexa tell you about that.
Yeah, so our manufacturer actually had to shut down to make hand sanitizer as like an order from the Canadian government. So it really delayed our launch essentially until he was told that he could go back to his regular business and didn't have to do hand sanitizer anymore. So it delayed us, and during that delay, we were incurring a lot of costs. We were we were really stressed, and then the opportunity kind of we thought we should probably think of something else just in case we can't get shampoo and conditioner bars going. And
right.
the opportunity for laundry strips came along. And our intention with Good Juju the whole time was our full name is Good Juju Body and Home. And our intention was to create, really luxurious, sustainable, beautiful products for your body and your home. And so, shampoo and conditioner bars, but also products for the home. So laundry strips fit in really well. And so we jumped on that opportunity and we were actually able to make that happen in only, I think it was only like 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
So when we did launch in November, and we were able to launch with all of our products, but it wasn't, it just wasn't as smooth as we had anticipated or hoped.
Wow, that's wild. So I want to actually talk about the branding process. So, you had to do all the things to actually create the process, not the process, you had to create the products, right? Communicate with the suppliers, go through all of those challenges. Did you already have your brand set up prior to that? Or was that something you did kind of simultaneously or afterwards? Because there are different ways that you can approach it. And sometimes that production process is so long that you can, decide to do it however which way you want. So it's gorgeous, by the way. Like, I love your packaging. I love the branding. I think you guys did a beautiful job, or whoever did it did a beautiful job. Obviously, you had something to do with it.
Yeah.
What was that process like for you guys?
Yeah, I think that was like such a fun process to go through. So we did it pretty much in tandem. I would say it was done in tandem because a branding process and packaging takes an extremely long time to
Yep.
actually like create a brand, get the packaging done, get the artwork done. I wish people understood like the amount of work it takes to actually that product that gets in your hand, that final product, the amount of work that it takes to just get every little detail right on the product on the packaging.
Yeah.
So we worked with an agency. We knew my background is in marketing, and Alexa and I were super aligned right from the start. So both of our backgrounds are in marketing, actually,
Cool.
and
Which helps for sure.
yeah, we were really aligned right from the start that part of what we wanted for Good Juju was to have a beautiful experience from start to finish. So yes, the product performs amazing, but when you see it, when you land on the website, when you get the product in your hand, when you see the package on a shelf in a retail store, we really wanted to invoke that luxury feel or that premium feel that you
Yeah.
actually get when you use the product. And so I would say that in the beginning, we like to say we kind of over invested in marketing. So upfront, we hired an award-winning branding agency who really has a really cool process and like it was, I've been, working for other companies. I've gone through branding and rebranding and a whole, slew of processes. And it was a very unique process in that, they really interviewed us. Like it was really about, tell me about you, tell me about what you like and what you dislike. It wasn't even about the products. Like, I don't know, Alexa, do you remember that whole meeting?
Yeah, like we were encouraged to bring artifacts that were meaningful to us in our lives from our past. So we brought a whole bunch of different artifacts and memories, things that were very meaningful to us, and then they used that to create kind of our brand persona, I think, and then going forward to create, the rest of the visual identity and everything that you see of Good Juju. But as a result, I think that there is a lot of Lisa and I in it.
Yes.
In the branding, as well as in the company. So
yeah. That's cool. I've never actually heard that before. I mean, like as a branding agency, we obviously speak with entrepreneurs all the time. Sometimes it's not the entrepreneur, sometimes it's like the marketing director, whoever might be involved in the project. But we always start with that brand discovery call, which I'm sure you went through, or that was maybe a version of, where we're really understanding like what's working, what's not working, their overall goals, their mission, vision, values, if it's even really defined, because sometimes that's part of the problem, is that it's not defined, right? And then really finding that clarity on like who we are as people and as a brand, so that we can communicate clearly. Because like the biggest thing that I hear is like the lack of cohesion, like not having that proper strategy in place. Like it shows. So it shows that you guys also put in that time and effort and money in advance. And I think working in marketing, you guys knew like this is the way to go. Whereas some entrepreneurs, where it's like if they're really like new to the area and haven't done anything in the marketing industry or entrepreneurship, they're likely to skip that step and be like, the first thing I need is a logo. Like, it's kind of important, but like not as important as you think, because like it, like the logo doesn't just like come out of thin air.
No, it doesn't.
Like there's so much more involved. So like I'm curious to know like what were some of those artifacts that you guys brought? I'm just curious. What an interesting process.
I think it was like beautiful images of paintings, for example, that we thought were like because we knew, I think what was really clear from us from the start was that we wanted Good Juju to be a beautiful experience. So the agency was like, well, what does beauty mean to you? Like texture wise, color wise, so yeah, it was a really cool discovery experience. But, from the business perspective, really putting that time up front, because when we launched, we ended up launching with, obviously a really beautiful brand, and as well as a lot of PR. That's the other thing we really overinvested in right at the front. So we launched with like gift guides and a whole bunch of PR around Good Juju. So it really did help us, because when we launched in the middle of the pandemic, where a lot of retail was closed down, we had this beautiful consumer experience that you were able to have through the brand, through online and through PR, that really helped us kind of launch with a bang.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. I saw that you guys had also like a membership. What is that about on your website?
No, it's a subscription program.
Sorry, the subscription. My bad.
But we offer a subscription program for people who are frequent users, and we offer a discount, and then the product is shipped. So like for laundry, for example, like most people do, actually, apparently the average household like 350 loads of laundry a year or something. So it's nice to just, set it and forget it, get your laundry delivered, your laundry stuff delivered like on a regular basis. So yeah, it's been really popular.
That does make sense, because if they are like avid consumers, and at that point, it's like, if you're going to do it, commit to it. Don't just like do it and throw in 3 sheets and call it a day. You're going to commit. And, we live in a smaller town, so it's actually kind of hard to find that stuff around us, like anything like natural, organic. And, there are certain brands that we use. And I was, chatting with Lisa just the other week about how my husband and I have been trying to change things within our house, especially like the products that we're putting on our skin. And like we're working on like slowly switching out like some of the cleaning products, etc. Like I think it's so important. And I just don't know that there's enough like education out there. And I think a big misconception, which I know you guys speak about all the time, is that people think that just because it's sustainable, it doesn't work as well or the quality isn't there. So from a marketing perspective, like what is it that you guys did to make sure to get that message out, to be like, because everyone's going to say their product works, but what is it about yours that like actually works, and how were you able to convince people that that was the case?
Well, I think that it's, at first, it definitely is marketing, right? It's saying that this is amazing and you're going to love it. But when we look now, so we have like an exit poll when somebody checks out and how did you hear about Good Juju? Overwhelmingly, it's they saw it from friends. So somebody has tried it and said, oh my God, it works amazing. You need to try it. So
makes sense.
I think that ultimately you can have as great and as flashy marketing as you want, but it really comes down to the product. The product has to deliver. And that's something that we are so confident in. Whenever we recommend somebody to try our hair care bars or any of our products or body bars or laundry strips, we're always like, just try it. Like that's what you just try it. And once you try it, you're going to absolutely love it.
Yeah, I guess that's a thing. Do you guys have some kind of like guarantee, warranty situation to say, like, because I know a lot of brands do that, right?
Yeah, yeah, we do. We offer refunds if people aren't happy, or we'll suggest another formula. So we have 4 different formulas for hair types.
Cool.
And oftentimes, if somebody hasn't had a great experience, it's because they've just tried the wrong formula. So we offer another formula, and then if somebody's not happy, we do offer a refund. We find people are pretty simple in general still about shampoo and conditioner bars and about laundry sheets. Like you said, a lot of people think that if something's sustainable, it's not going to work as well. Mm-hmm. So we want to offer that return policy just for peace of mind for people that are buying from us.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing for sure, because I have truthfully used some sustainable products that didn't work.
100%. That's exactly why we did it, because I was using shampoo bars and they were not great. They were not awesome. But I think that statement is actually quite true for any product. Like I've used lots of liquid shampoo, conventional shampoo that didn't work great for me, you know?
Yeah. It is. It's just because it's a new format that people are a bit more wary. But there's no reason.
And maybe like a little less saturated too.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? Yeah. So like I think with those other products, it kind of can get like lost in the mix. Whereas like with you guys, you're in a smaller pool. So do you find it's easier to stand out, or do you feel like it's still hard? Because I mean, it is growing. The space has been growing. But I mean, when I walk through Walmart, there's maybe like 2 brands, if even, that are sustainable.
I think when we first, I think our culture is really obsessed with newness. So when we first launched, I think it was very easy for us to stand out. 3 years into it, it's a little bit harder to you have new entrants coming in, and even though they don't work as well, you kind of have to let them go through that cycle of like coming in, people trying them, and then coming back. Like we have reviews all the time of people being like, I tried yours first, then I went and tried, because it's a brand new format. You're opening people up to a whole new way of functioning in their daily routine. So they're like, wow, I tried this bar, that's amazing, let me try another bar now. And we have so many reviews of people saying, I tried other bars, I always come back to yours, I'm not switching anymore. So
that's great.
And but I also think that just standing out from a marketing perspective right now, there's so many levels to that. One is like the industry itself and how there's new players coming in. Next is like, well, what are our tools to stand out? It's, Meta and it's Google. Okay. Does anybody have the magic pill to those algorithms? Because I'd love to know it, So,
wouldn't we all?
Right? So yeah, I would say it's definitely getting harder and harder, just because, I don't know, it feels like that's the state of business right now, but such is life.
Yeah.
Back to kind of like the quality control too, and the production process, because you mentioned you had a few different lines. What was the testing phase like? Did you have like your friends and family be the guinea pigs? Was that kind of how it went down?
Yeah, definitely.
And then you just kind of went on their feedback. Was there any like more further studying that went on, or have you actually even been adjusting the formulas as you've gone by, as the time has gone by?
They're really awesome. In the 9 months, I don't know, Alexa, how many iterations do you think we went through?
we went through a lot. We went through a lot of iteration, and we let a lot of people try them, and we tried them, and we both have very different hair types, but we also, we made sure we found somebody with curly hair to try the curly hair. But we made sure that everybody, like, we were
all the hairstyles, hair types. Yeah.
And so I think we had a pretty good sample size testing for us.
How does it compare to a bottle of shampoo? Is it about the same amount, like in terms of usage that you can get out of the bar?
I mean, everybody's going to be different given your hair style, your hair type, your hair length, and how much you wash your hair. But we say that one bar is equal to about 2 to 3 bottles of liquid shampoo. The bar for sure lasts even longer than the shampoo bar. But we have some people who have the shampoo bar for 6 months. We have some people who can make it last for 2 months, 3 months. It's very dependent, but it lasts longer than liquid shampoo. Yeah.
Have you ever gotten any, I guess, negative feedback, maybe not on like the product itself, but maybe on like the service, especially when like starting out? Were there any challenges or hiccups that you had to be like, oh shit, like I can't believe this happened, and then had to make adjustments along the way?
Nothing major.
You're like, no, we're perfect.
No, we're definitely not perfect. That's for sure. No, definitely not perfect. But I think when it comes to like the reason that we chose to go with a manufacturer and not make the product in our basement, a lot of people do say that, is because of the quality control. When you go with a manufacturer, their environment, especially when you're working with soaps and surfactants and all those things that go in, like those ingredients, you don't want them to be exposed to mold, to be exposed to bacteria. You can have it's actually a very tricky thing to make those things at home. So I think that's probably one of the reasons. Like, we've definitely had people say it just didn't work for me. But those are really far and few between. But I do think that the reason that we just haven't had to make any adjustments is because of the work that we put up front. So we did the formulation with the help of a naturopathic doctor who's also a Harvard researcher, as well as a hairdresser, and then we had countless people testing it. So we were looking at it from multiple angles, in order to make sure that when we launched the product, it was really gonna be amazing and deliver. And
yeah, I think that's an amazing lesson for any entrepreneur listening, is like invest the money and the work up front. Because like we were mentioning earlier, sometimes, like, yes, it might be a bit of a tough pill to swallow, but if you think about it, so many times people have to go back and end up spending more money and more time to revise their brand because it's not at the standard or where it needs to be in order to really, hit that next level.
We definitely, I gotta say, we've had to make tweaks and adjustments along the way, not to the product itself, but to the packaging. I think that was one of our biggest learnings.
Like what? I'm curious.
Why don't you tell the story of the packaging, Alexa?
Well, when we launched, our goal is to be totally plastic free and as sustainable as possible. And when we launched, we developed our first box for our shampoo and conditioner bars was made out of this really cool material. It's like a plant-based corn, non-GMO corn, that dissolves in water. And so we had created these little box kind of thing that the bar would nestle into, and then it was wrapped in a millboard, which FSC millboard sleeve. And what we found was that the design failed. It completely failed for retail, which is what it was designed for. The corn piece would slide out of the. I actually have one. This corn piece would slide out of the package when it was, and so we had to come up with a way to fix it in there. But then the corn would start to dissolve, and it just really, it took so long to put each box together that to fulfill a retail order would take us 10 times the amount of time that it takes now. So we worked through the order of packaging that we had placed because, as a startup, we also were very low on funds.
Of course, yeah.
And put it to the current box that we have now, which is just a closed box on all sides.
Yeah. But I would say we're continuing to iterate, our motto is a little bit like progress over perfection. Like we waited for perfection in the product itself to launch, but like There's so many things that we just launch, tweak, see what works, see what doesn't work. The laundry strip packaging again is something that we discussed. We just were discussing it last week. Like, should we switch to a box instead of an envelope? Like, what would help? I think that's like, I have to say, like, the perfection is the enemy of progress, I would say, right? Like,
Yes.
that's like a saying, right?
I agree.
Like, you have to make sure that you don't get caught up in wanting everything to be perfect. Even, things like an Instagram post, like, it doesn't matter. It's there for a little bit, put it out, keep going, learn.
Yeah.
I think that the biggest thing is learning as you go along.
Yeah, for sure. And like constantly pivoting, like with the thing with the box, and like realizing it's not working. And, some people might be like, oh, we're going to just take it off the shelf. We're going to lose our money. But like you said, you're a startup. You have to be mindful of what you're spending. So it's like, okay, yeah, it's not perfect, but the next round will make it better,
Exactly.
And I agree. I feel like I've done a lot of that with Nomad Creative too. It's like, we launched the brand 6 years ago. And even just in what we're offering, similarly to you, and like what your product line looks like, that's going to change over time. Maybe you're going to add things or modify things. Like, I think that's normal for any business, because if you're staying the same the whole time, then like, I think actually there's a problem with that, like you got to adjust with the times, like pay attention to the economy, to what people are asking for, and to also just like what's working and what's not working, whether you're dealing with like clients one-on-one, let's say in like a service-based business, or people that are buying a product and giving your reviews, etc. And also your competition, right?
Yeah.
Don't forget about like, what are they doing?
Yeah, I think the other really great thing that we do is we're super transparent with our customers. So if we did have an issue with our laundry strips when at some point where a couple of them were sticking together, and we're like very quick to email everybody and say, I'm sorry you have this issue. We'll talk to you about it. We'll give you a discount off your next order. We'll send you a free pack. We'll do things. So I think that's also something, because when you are able to be transparent, you're opening up a dialogue. And I think that that's really important. We get so many people who are like, thank you for saying this. Thank you for reaching out to us. And it just really, it ingratiates you more to them, right? Like they really love us for having that conversation with them.
Because you're humans behind the brand. And at the end of the day, like, people will make mistakes. So the business can't be perfect either. And as long as you take accountability and like deal with it with, grace, and like you have like your ethics at the forefront, then it's like, I mean, there's always going to be some people that will be mad to be mad and nothing will make them happy. But for the most part, I think people are just like appreciative of hey, yeah, actually, like we screwed up, or something's not working super well. Like, we're working on making it better. Thank you so much for bringing this to our attention so that we can be better for you. And I think that's like a really great attitude to have. And I know you guys are doing such a good job. I mean, like, you can just tell if anyone hasn't already been to their website, like, you just land on the page and you're like, they know what they're doing.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. It really is a beautiful website. We've been talking a lot about brand, a lot about marketing. I know that you guys are obviously passionate about single-use plastic, how big of a problem it truly is. Is there anything that you want to share to educate anyone listening today? Something maybe they wouldn't have been aware of, that's maybe not so mainstream, to maybe help change their minds about the products that they're using?
Yeah, I think I don't know. What you want to start, Alexa, and I can fill in any gaps. We always have this like, who's
there's
talking?
So much. I know there's so much to say. You guys could probably talk about this forever.
There is so much. I mean, so first of all, one of the stats that really blew us away when we started Good Juju was that we throw away 3 billion plastic shampoo and conditioner bottles to landfill every single year just in North America, and 700 million plastic laundry detergent bottles. So
wow.
Reasons why we went with products that people use on a day-to-day basis is because we knew that we could create a bigger impact. Imagine if even a small percentage of people are switching products that are not in plastic bottles in those two categories. I mean, the impact would be huge.
Yeah. And I think that I think, to be clear, we're not saying that all plastic is like the devil. For us, it's about like single-use plastic, and it's about where we can have easy swaps that are going to make a difference, to Alexa's point. I think what people don't realize is that people think that the issue with plastic is at the end of its life cycle, because you see it kind of like in the environment. You think you see the plastic
Yeah.
bottles on the street, or you see, you know, the seahorse with the Q-tip up its nose, or, you know, you see all those images of like plastic floating
Right.
in the ocean. But the truth is that plastic is an issue from cradle to grave. So it starts with the extraction of fossil fuels, which is, you know, very carbon intensive. Then there's the manufacturing process. Then there's the trucking process, and things like shampoo and conditioner and laundry detergent are actually upwards of 70, 80, even 90% water when they're in the plastic bottle. So you're actually paying for trucking around a lot of water. And what we do is we're just concentrating everything. So you have the water at home, you can add it with, you know, you add it in your machine, you add it when you're in your shower. Because what's happening is, and I think the other misconception that a lot of people have is that everything you throw into the blue bin, everything you put to recycle actually gets recycled. Not true. It's really alarming. I think it's only like 9 to 11%, or gets recycled. So when you have,
why is that though? Like, how disappointing and like misleading to people who think that that's like they're helping, you know?
Yeah, we lack the facilities in North America to actually process all the recycling that we should. So we've shipped it to other countries, and that too, like you're taking all of our trash and shipping it to other countries to recycle. Often it doesn't end up in recycling systems there either. So we need our whole system to be completely modernized and updated, but it's just we don't have the infrastructure here.
And then it ends up in the landfill. And then what happens in the landfill is that it breaks down into microplastics and then into nanoplastics. And nanoplastics you can't see. Like, they actually get absorbed into the air. They get rained down. Like, instead of acid rain, it's plastic rain. It then gets absorbed into the soil. It grows into the plants, which you're then eating and consuming. Like, it's actually a really big problem. And there's a stat saying that we ingest or inhale a credit card size worth of plastic every single week.
That's frightening.
Yeah.
Plastic. Like, I'm smiling because I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, no.
Every week.
It's hard to comprehend. Yeah.
My husband's kind of been getting into some research of like microplastics in our clothing and stuff like that, and different fabrics on like what to buy, etc. And then also like what we're serving our food in. Obviously, like Tupperware is a whole thing. I think that's like people have known about that for a while now. But yeah, he's on the train. Like, he's studying microplastics right now. So I've been hearing about it here and there. But like with that whole like credit card statement, that's insane to me. Like,
can you imagine what that's doing to
how we've allowed ourselves to get here?
And you know what the crazy thing is that half of the plastic that has ever been produced on this earth actually has only been produced in the last like 23 years. I think it's something like that. Yeah,
I believe it.
So like overnight, plastic became ubiquitous in our routine. It's like all of a sudden we have to have plastic and water. You have to have water bottles. You have to have, you know, body wash. People used to use soap before body wash. You know, people, like, everything all of a sudden got put into plastic. It's like you go to the grocery store, like, vegetables are wrapped in plastic. Everything is, it just became like, it just boomed overnight. And for us, it's kind of like, well, if that can happen in that short period of time, if we can, you know, go to using that much plastic, then we can turn it around as well in a shorter period.
For sure. For sure. I think people are just like, it's a matter of what they're used to. And people don't like switching the routine. Probably cost has something to do with it too. Like, how cost comparable? Typically, at least from what I've seen, anything sustainable, I'm paying like double, triple, sometimes even quadruple the price. Is that like on par?
It's
would
not
you
for
say?
Us. Yeah, I would say what the like a bar of our shampoo bar without the packaging is $19.99, but it can be anywhere at retail up to like $23-24. But like Alexa said, it replaces up to 3 plastic bottles. So it's actually more economical.
Yeah, because I'm thinking of like, I'm using like Attitude shampoo and conditioner right now, but in a bottle. And I think it's like $12-ish Canadian per bottle, right? So if I'm thinking about it, like that 3 times would be more than using the bar. And I'm wasting 6 bottles of plastic because the shampoo and conditioner each time.
How long does a plastic bottle last you?
I don't know. I don't wash my hair that much.
A lot of people don't. Yeah.
I really don't pay enough attention. I don't pay enough attention, but like definitely over a month, like maybe 2-ish months-ish.
Yeah.
Is that
I
normal?
I actually used to use Attitude or Good Juju because we sold it in our stores, and I remember having like Attitude is a great brand, but
Yeah.
the amount of conditioner that my hair required was like I would have to have like a big, huge glob. It didn't matter the brand of conditioner. I used to have to
Yeah.
have a glob of conditioner. And with our bar, I just do like a few little swipes, and it's all detangled. So it's
Mm.
like it is more economical.
I do find though, this is like kind of like side topic. When I use the Attitude conditioner, I only put it on like the tips of my hair, not my whole head. And I used to, like when I used to use normal shampoo conditioner, I would put it on my whole head. But generally, like when you leave the shower, you don't have that silky smooth like feel in your hair, but it looks fine after you dry it and stuff. And I'm kind of used to it now. But is it similar with like the bars because of just like you feel the
It's
silky
really
smoothness?
nice. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
How am I not a customer yet?
No, this is what we say. Just try it. Just try the bars and
Yeah, seriously. Everyone listening, including myself, will be clicking whatever link is in this bio to like literally buy now because I mean, it's like there is no reason not to.
Yeah.
That's
We'll give you a
that's the way I
discount
see
code
it.
for your listeners too.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that. Okay, keep an eye out,
We'll
guys.
give you 15%.
So one thing, oh yes, love a deal. One thing you guys said on your website, which I loved, and I just wanted to kind of highlight because I think it's like bringing together everything that we were talking about, is that you don't need a handful of people doing zero waste perfectly, but you need millions of people doing it imperfectly. So to those people who feel like it is overwhelming, like, oh my God, I have to change my whole life around, like start with one thing at a time. Go invest in some good juju, whether it's for your hair or whether it's for your home, your body. You know, it's all in the little things. And like you said, Lisa, if we can blow up plastics overnight, we can also blow up brands like this overnight. So I'm really glad that like we had the opportunity to chat, and hopefully whoever is listening, you know, learn something and open their eyes to something new, or learn something
so too.
different than what they're used to,
give it a shot.
right?
Add the good. I think that's like the best advice I ever heard, and it was actually coming from like in the health space, like a nutrition space, where they're saying, oh, I'm starting to eat healthy, I don't know like where to start. Like people get overwhelmed, they think they have to like get rid of all the plastic in their life. You don't.
Yeah,
just start adding some good things in, and all of your other routines that maybe aren't as great will start to drop away.
Right. Back to the whole like progress, not like perfection, right? We don't have to be perfect from the beginning. You will stunt yourself from moving forward. Just do it. Just freaking do it. I've loved having you both on. The way we always end the Mindfulpreneur podcast is with what I call the mindful minute. So I'm going to leave each of you, like a minute or whatever, 30 seconds, 2 minutes, 4 minutes. I always say a minute, but it just sounds good. Mindful minute. To share a piece of advice with our listeners, whether it's business related, life related, something that maybe you can't learn in a textbook, based on your journey so far. So who wants to go first?
Go ahead.
Go, Alexa.
This might not be applicable for everyone, but for me, having a partner in Lisa and through this journey has made it tolerable and enjoyable, and given me somebody to celebrate the successes with, but also to cry with when things are going badly. And we are both single moms. We lean on each other for support all the time. And I think I would never have been able to do this on my own, nor would I have wanted to. So if you can find a great partner like Lisa, then it makes
love that.
It makes it all better.
Yeah.
That's so sweet. It is really nice to have someone to bounce those ideas off of and have support. I do most of my business alone. Obviously I have a team, but it's different, when you have like a co-founder. So my husband's the one I cry with.
We're both single moms, so we have each other.
Well, that's true. You have each other. There you go. Perfect. What about you, Lisa? What's your mindful minute?
First of all, I do have to echo what Alexa said. Like, I would not. I right from the beginning, I knew I didn't want to do this by myself. But I think that one of the really good, amazing things that have come out of this, many things, is just like Alexa and our relationship has deepened. And like a lot of people say, wow, you guys are so lucky, because they've had really bad partner relationships, and so far that's good. But that's not my mindful minute. I would say I just wanted to echo what Alexa said.
Of course.
I would say hard things, my biggest lesson, and this would be like, it's definitely a life lesson, but it's also a business lesson. Like, look for the lesson in all of the hard things, because that's what they're there for. You know, I think that hard things challenge you. They challenge you to think about how you show up in a situation. They challenge you to think, what is this situation teaching me? And I think that it's definitely something that has come up over and over again in my life, is like, okay, so I'm in a challenging situation, you know, what does this say about me? Also, what does this say about how I need to change? And like, you know, what does it say about my broader life? And I think that we have this culture now where, you know, a lot of experts talk about this now, where we have this culture of comfort. Like, everything around us is about comfort and about not doing hard things. And I think that it's a skill. Like, it's a skill that is really important to develop, and it's something that I try to teach my kids as well, because if you don't learn how to do hard things when you're young, then you're going to become an adult who doesn't know how to do anything hard, and then your stress levels go through the roof, and the knock-on effects of that are just, you know, too much.
I love that. I agree. I preach that all the time. So this is for sure, like, if it's a regular listener, they're like, yeah, like we're on the same page. So,
but also I'm okay if hard
that's amazing. Okay.
For a while too.
Yeah. We'll take a break every now and again. No, but like, for real. So, you know, I was mentioning we had launched a few websites, and I want to say one of the hardest weeks in my entire career. Like, it was very, very, very draining. Everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. I was dealing with people overseas, glitches happening left, right, and center, just because of the size of the project and the fact that my developer decided to basically go to Asia at the exact time that we planned the launch. And then the client was wanting to push the launch sooner than we really wanted to. But we kind of like said yes, but we shouldn't have said yes. And so you learned that lesson. And now I'm dealing with someone who's 13 hours ahead. And like, it was chaotic. It was just so chaotic. And I learned so much. And like, I cried a lot. But now I'm on the other side, and I'm like, I know exactly what I'm not going to do next time, you know? And it's those hard things that really help you get out better, stronger, smarter. And my mom always taught me as a young kid, I love that you're doing this with your children too. Like, she would make me call to make my appointments. Like, if ever there was a problem, like, I'm the one who's going to go and address it and have the conversation. And so I think it's super important to encourage kids to do that too. I love that you're doing that. Amazing. Okay, ladies, where can people go to learn more and to buy your product? Alexa.
Go to our website, www.hellogoodjuju.com, and they can find us on Instagram at hellogoodjuju_.
Amazing. Easy peasy. Okay, guys, go get your freaking shampoo and conditioner and go use the discount code. Amazing. Thanks, ladies. We'll talk to you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.